Hi, my name is Dr. Corincy Wilson, and I'm the Associate Dean for the School of Liberal Arts and Communications. I am here with Professor Baker, and he is the Faculty Department Chair for Mathematics.
And we're very excited that you're participating in New Student Orientation. And this conversation is going to be geared to giving you more information about the college and the difference between high school and college and other aspects of Tulsa Community College.
Because we want you to be successful. So, Professor Baker, what I'm most interested in, and I'm sure the students are also interested in, is again, what is the difference between a high school classroom and a college classroom?
Well, the biggest difference is pace. So I spent 13 years in K-12, so I've taught high school for quite a while, and now I've been at TCC, this is my 7th year. And I would say the biggest thing that I have noticed is the pacing of the coursework.
What about like your syllabus?
The syllabus is your contract between the student and the instructor or the professor.
Okay.
If you want to know what you have to do in order to get the grade that you want to get, an A, B, or a C, or whatever it is, the instructions, the assignments, the calendar, everything is laid out for you in the syllabus.
First week of class, we have our syllabus, we have our schedule. So what does it mean by a faculty member having an office hour? I mean, is that the time, can I come see you during that time or not? Could you explain what an office hour is?
Yeah, so whenever faculty members are in their offices and there are no students there, yes, they are working on grading, setting up exams, sometimes setting up videos, emailing, all sorts of work that goes on. But one of the misconceptions that I have found that students have is they think that if they go to a professor's office that they are intruding on their time to get their work done. And that is not the case. The first priority is the student.
So how should students kind of prioritize their time management when it comes down to preparing for exams, doing papers? Kind of what advice would you give students?
For all students, time management. If you are in a 3-hour class, you need to expect to spend at least that much amount of time outside of class. And that's at minimum. You're probably going to be spending for a 3-hour class between 3, 6, maybe even up to 10 hours some weeks working on what you're supposed to be, working on the content that you're supposed to be working on. Day 1 of the course, when you get the syllabus, if you haven't already gotten it off of Blackboard, you are going to know what your schedule is going to be like for your major assignments, your tests, labs, anything like that. And so if you wait until the week before to prepare, okay,
right.
you are not helping yourself out.
Right.
You need to grab each of your syllabi, you need to lay them out, and you need to get a calendar. And I use my phone. I mean, I'm in classes at OSU, and I use my phone, and I know when all of my stuff is due because I put it on my calendar.
What would you say are the major tips for students to be successful?
One of the biggest things that I see in my math classes when students are successful is they find a group of people in the class and they have a study community or a study group. Okay? No one knows better what's going on in your pre-calc 2 class than your classmates.
Right.
Okay?
Definitely.
Your classmates in this class, not in some other professor's class, in yours.
You said a study group, but also I would say relationships. So when you go to college, you're building relationships, you're building a community. So can you talk about activities, groups that students can be involved in, or activities to kind of broaden their horizon?
There are all sorts of events where there are tables of interest. And if you are interested in something, then I would be hard-pressed to think that you could not find an organization that you would want to be involved in. We have all sorts of student organizations with our global education. We have student organizations in math. We have some religious ones. We have a secular one. So it doesn't really matter what you want to talk about or what your interest is. There's something for you.
What adjustments would you say for the non-traditional student or the student who's returning back for either certification and who doesn't consider themselves the traditional college student? What adjustments would you say that they need to prepare for?
My advice to them would be no one cares what someone else thinks, right? Don't care about what someone else thinks.
Right.
You belong here.
Right.
Okay?
Everyone
you're
belongs here.
you're here for your education. You're not here for this 18-year-old person beside you's education. Okay? And first of all, don't worry about what they're thinking about you being in class, because they're too worried about what you're thinking about them.
Right,
okay?
right.
And number two is be patient with yourself. Okay? Because if you expect yourself to remember everything day one, that's not a recipe for success.
Right.
Be patient with yourself.
And what about reaching out for help? We never, you mentioned DMUs, you mentioned, the academic support labs, the language labs, but I'm just scared. I mean, what advice do you have for the student who in the 11th hour says, I think I need some help?
The biggest piece of advice I would give in that situation is students should not be afraid to reach out and ask questions. Okay? Professors, we might have a cable or dish network where we have ESPN, but we don't have ESP. We don't know when you're drowning and when you're in trouble unless you tell us. Okay? We cannot read your minds. So if you need help, contact someone. And that really is kind of a theme that I've found here at Tulsa Community College. I mean, we've got all sorts of things like the retention specialists who help people who come into a certain situation that might cause them to miss class for some time.
Right.
Okay? We've got veteran affairs. We've got the TRIO system. We've got the Education Access Center. We've got all sorts of things that are designed to help students succeed.
Well, Josh, we would like to say thank you so much for joining us. And again, we look forward to seeing you on campus.